It's how can I change the word sell to help? And the first thing is if I can create an experience that she can't duplicate on her own, then that's going to make her want to continue to come back. Now, the more she comes back, naturally what happens is eventually over time, she's going to start getting results. Once she starts getting results, now the question then becomes, what more can I do? So my position was, okay, if I can continue to provide an experience for these people, they're going to continue to want to come back for the experience alone, because that part I can control. And if they continue to come back, then the physical result happens, and then it's a cycle. But that's how I did it. And I realized that immediately because, like I said, I had rent to pay. So it's
right. First
how do we figure this out quickly? And
quickly.
And luckily the perception that we have on salespeople, because I'm just like you, like I don't want to be a used car salesman. And my solution to that was don't be. Just genuinely care about people. Like I'm not selling you something that is not going to help you. I'm not pushing you into a contract that you can't afford. I'm here to meet you exactly where you are and help you get to where it is that you need to be. And for some people, maybe that's 8 sessions and that's all you can do right now. That's okay, right? What can we accomplish? What habits can we build in those 8 sessions that'll help you moving forward? And eventually you're either going to come back or you're going to tell people about the experience that you had with me, and it's a win either way.
Before we talk more about experience, I just want to let you know these tips and these jewels that you're giving out now, these were some of the same tips and jewels that you were giving out in Chicago, and that resonated with me. And I remember some of my first clients, I would do that. I would meet them at the front desk, and people like the other trainers kind of looking at me weird when I went there to the front desk. And I'm like, well, you guys were at the same meeting I was at too. I don't know what you was paying attention to. Hey, but it made so much of a difference. It made so much of a difference of meeting them, there, and just providing them that initial security, versus having to walk around the gym wondering where I am or their trainer is, or it may have you. In that listening standpoint, I remember you talked more about listening to what they say, listening to what that person is telling you about their fitness journey, their desires, their goals, and how it can fit into whatever genius Mad Max plan I had in my head of a personal training for his workout, and all that just fell out the window. Because like you said, it's not about, hey, you're going to love this bench press like how I love it. It's not that. I remember my trainer at the time, my supervisor, he said, well, how would you initiate the conversation in regards to this tricep exercise for this client? I'm like, shoot, man, we about to superset. You know what I mean? I'm like, no, you're going to do like 12 tricep press downs and 12 curls. It was like, that's you're going too fast. And from that standpoint, your speech clicked in about listening and just taking your time with people. So everything that you're saying and what you said, these jewels that I'm telling y'all, I listened to and I applied it, and it works. Now, when we're talking about the customer experience or the client experience, how would you look for, what would you look for in a personal trainer as far as for you yourself? Like if you were looking for a personal trainer, and how would that parallel for, let's say, the average clientele, female 28 to 50, what should they look out for in their quest to find a personal trainer?
Yeah, that's a good question. I will look for somebody who I believe has the ability to help solve my problems. Simple as that. I'll take it off training for a second. It's in any need that you have, that's what you look for. I remember I hired a business coach, right? Mm-hmm. And I sat in his private Facebook group for 2 years. I didn't like a post. I didn't comment on a post, because you know how it is. Sometimes if you like a post, now you become a lead and now you're getting messages. I didn't want none of that. I was observing to see if the material that he was consistently putting out had the ability to solve the problems that I was having in my business at the time. After observing him for 2 years, I came to the decision that he was consistently showing up, giving me information that I found helpful to solve the problems that I had. So when I finally hit him up, he had no clue who I was. He's going through his whole sales process. I'm like, look, I'm already sold. You know what I mean? And I paid him $10,000 for 3 months of coaching, right?
Mm-hmm.
The point is that it was him proving over time that he had the solutions to my specific problems. So same thing when you're looking for a trainer, I think that's first. Like, it's not necessarily about how good or bad his physique is. It's not necessarily about how fancy his videos are on the internet. It's when he's showing up and he's, talking about what he can do. Is he not only giving you tips and information that you're finding helpful, and then is he showing social proof that, hey, not only do I know what I'm talking about, but I've either done this for myself or I've done this for other people as well. And this is why I can do it for you. So does he have the ability to meet you where you are and help you get to where it is that you want to be? And has he shown that consistently? Right. I think that's the first step.
Excellent. Yeah, definite social proof. And again, when I first started, personal training, again, like I was always recording. I was recording way before I became a personal trainer. It's just natural, and, you get inboxes, right? About, personal training and, can you do this, blah, 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 or whatever. Then, you're thinking that you got somebody, on the hook. It's like, yeah, man, somebody's going to sign up. Cause like you said, hey, rent is due. Hey man, you're already counting the money in your head or whatever like that. Don't ever do that, people. Don't ever do that. I mean, I'm counting, you know what I mean? I'm just so excited, right? So excited. And, you get an inbox. It's like, okay, you know what? They say they're going to sign up, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, oh, okay, they even go so far as filling the stuff out. But then the invoice is sent and then crickets. And you're just waiting. You follow up, day one, day two, maybe week one or week two. And then after a while, you're like, all right, that's not happening. Then a couple of weeks later, you may see them working out with somebody else. And in the beginning, I was like, well, how did you come to that decision? How did you come to that decision? And this person that they chose had none of those resources, like how you just said, and how I know I had. And that was always kind of driving me. I'm like, what is it? What was it? How did somebody come to that decision to make on a personal training when there's no resources that I can just go to? It's like, oh, okay, maybe it was word of mouth, you know what I mean? And that's before I kind of like realized, sometimes it's word of mouth. Sometimes your price may not fit their budget. How would you deal with that in the beginning stages of your career?
I didn't take it personal, right? Like it was, and that's one thing that we hate rejection. Right. Yeah. We hate to feel like it's something about me that sucks and that's why they didn't pick me. And sometimes it was me, right? Sometimes maybe I was trying to push the sale too hard and now they felt that in the conversation and now they feel like they're being sold instead of helped, right? So, but in other occasions, in other scenarios, I realized that sometimes we just weren't a good fit and that's okay. All right. When I identified who my ideal client is, and who I can help, what I learned is like that ended up being the clientele that I built consistently. And, that took time to get to that point because in the beginning I was just, dude, anybody and everybody, let's do it. Right.
Right.
And I think sometimes that's the problem when you're going after anybody and everybody, you're casting a wider net. And it puts you in position to hear no more because you're going after a bigger, wider demographic. And I understood like I was going to get told no because, dude, when I was showing people these prices, I couldn't afford it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So like,
So
sure. It was hard for me to confidently even sell it because in my brain, it was like, shit, I can't afford this. So how can I expect them to? But that was the message that I would convey because I knew I couldn't afford it. So I would be in a back and forth conversation. And once I presented price and it would get quiet, instead of me just letting them process and think, I would automatically try to discount it. or automatically say, I can take money off, da da da.
Yeah.
But what I've learned is that sometimes when that silence is happening, it's not them, thinking about how expensive it is. That's me thinking about how expensive it is.
True.
They're just processing if it can work or not, right? And so I just let them tell me at a point. I don't bring up a payment plan if they're not talking about it, right? But what I've learned is after that silence, sometimes it's like, okay, well, do I have to pay the whole thing, or can I do a payment plan, or do I have to do this or that? Then a conversation can happen. It's not a sale, but we're so scared of being told no that oftentimes we're told no because we get nervous and we make the scenario confusing and more pushy. So we went from this confident trainer who I thought could help me, and now we're talking about price, and now you're being weird. So that's what I learned along the way, man. It was like, sometimes people just need a chance to process and see if it's something that they could do. I'll never forget. I had a dude during Christmas time. He's sitting there and this silence happens, and I'm, going through price with him, and the 24 sessions was $1,296. I'll never forget. And he sat there after I presented price, and it's quiet, and he's like, well, I guess I'm just going to take the TV back that I just bought for Christmas. It was $1,100, right? So in his mind, while he's processing, he's thinking about what can he take away, what maybe he goes out to eat less. In my mind, he's thinking, I ain't gonna do it. I ain't gonna do it.
Right.
But I just let him be, let him process. And what he was doing was, I see value in this. So what do I need to do to make it happen? And I think that silence sometimes is important after you've truly, done everything to show that you can help. Now the next step is just letting it be and see, what happens next. Not forcing it, not being salesy. And I think a lot of that in the beginning was me wanting it so bad, but also not wanting to hear no. And the combination of that was chaos. You know?
And that's telling. Just in life, I've noticed I've been doing that a lot more of let people process what you've said to them, what you've asked of them. Everything does not need an instantaneous response. And especially nowadays in the social media world where you put up one thing and everybody has an answer or response for it, just like that.